Okay, in this video I'd like to go over how to assemble this sweet cart. But first, a quick note for those of you who have purchased the digital file and are printing this yourselves. Here I am in Bamboo Studio, and this is how I've laid the parts out. Now all of these parts should come in oriented properly with the correct side facing down. And I've just got them spread out haphazardly across. Looks, for me, it takes about 7 plates. I'm using a print area of 256 by 256 millimeters, and so I've separated it like this. And there are only 3 parts that need support. This lock symbol comes up when you change a setting from default, and so you can see here that this axle, which I've got right here, since it's cylindrical, it does need some support, so I've turned on support for that. And then there are 2 other items, these table 1 and 2. I've turned on support here since there is an overhang. There are 2 kinds of glue that I find myself using over and over, and they are this Loctite Plastics Bonding System. With this glue, you'll first go over the surface with this, looks like a magic marker, and then you'll put this like super glue over it. And I like this because it's made for plastic and it will hold stronger. And it also, once you've gone over it with this marker and then put the glue on, it's really tacky and you can feel it bond right away. And I find that really useful, so I don't have to wait as long for parts to dry before I move on. And then this glue, which is the same brand, but it's a gel control. This works really well for tiny little areas where, let's say you're putting the axle into the cap and you just have a little spot that you want the glue and you don't want it to run out across a larger surface. I found that this gel control works really well for areas like that. So I find myself going back to these glues, these 2 kinds of glue, over and over. Right, I like to start underneath. Under the main body, we have this brace which holds these mounts. And you can see there are 2 little pin holes right here to help you align it. So the first thing I'll glue is this brace, and then I'll slide those 2 into it. Once that's in place, we'll put in the axle and wheels. So of course this square part is going to slide up in between those A-frames first, then push the axle through, and then on each side put first this spacer which keeps the wheel a little backed off a little bit from this A-frame, and then put the cap on the end. The only place I put glue is inside this cap, and again that's a great place to use the gel, just a little bit of gel so it doesn't leak out. If it does leak out, it will glue the wheel onto the cap, which is not too bad. I mean, it won't prevent anything from turning, but I still try and be careful and just not put more glue than will leak out of this cap. Next, I like to put the legs on. Now the legs are designed to snap over this area here. Right? That should snap over that. And the legs are the same except that one has this little notch on top. That notch is meant to be opposite this notch. We're going to hang a door here on this side of the cart. So be sure that the leg with this notch is opposite this end. Right? This one doesn't have a notch. So we'll glue those on. And again, they're meant to snap here. So I would put glue on the body, right on the body here, and then snap it over that. Okay, then underneath we have a brace here. Again, there are these 2 pins. They are meant to help you put that on nice and horizontal. And then there's a platform underneath. And on this platform, there are 4 little pinholes. And in the back, they're a lot closer to the end. Right? So there's more space between the pinhole and the front end. Right? And this is meant to fit the little pinholes on this that goes around the axle. Right, and then once you have the underside done, then we put on this platform. Now, here we want to be sure to put that door in before we do any gluing. You won't be able to get that door in once these are glued down. And put these 2 poles through the holes. And then I would glue them to each side. Right, and there is geometry to match up, so you can see that this is meant to fit into that hole on either side. So I would put glue there first and glue them in, and then slide down this platform right afterwards and glue it. And just be sure not to let any glue leak onto that door. But I would glue all the way around here. Next, there are these parts that go on top. Now, these 2 pieces that I've got in gray here, those are meant to only to help you position this piece. It's to get it aligned. So I would use it to get it aligned and just glue that down. And once that's in place, I would remove those and just throw them away. That's one way to do it. You don't have to use these braces. You could also make this whole assembly, look, this whole assembly, you could make it and then position it onto the platform. And that's not a bad idea, because then you could put it on there and maybe remove it if you ever wanted to remove it. But you do have these braces to help you glue this down first if you want to take the simpler, easier way. So then once that's glued down in place, then we have this door that will open. You want to make sure that the hinge fits into that open hole and this into that open hole. And then glue these in. And so you could glue it against this post and that post. And next we could put in these. Both of these shelves are exactly alike. So just pick one and put it here in the front. It's meant to have this. This will be a place where you can glue the handle on. And this is meant, this surface here is meant to fit inside there and inside there. And that top ledge, right, that little, that ledge and that ledge should fit up against that and that. So I would put the platform in first, and it should be centered because of it's gone around this. And then glue those in after. Right? Same thing on the back side, but this side doesn't have handles, but it works the same way. And then up here with these posts, I would recommend gluing this, right? Just putting glue on that end. Well, I like to put the glue on this side. You know, all these parts, I will use that plastics bonder and go over the surface first with that marker. And then I'll put the glue on the one side. And I like to put the glue on this end and that end. Put it in there, hold them together for a few seconds and they'll stay put. Do the same thing on this side, right, until this is, put glue on both ends, hold that together. And once these have had a minute or two to dry, then this piece, put glue on either end and put it in that hole and in that hole. And then these two parts of the roof, I would glue them down. And once that roof is in place, then I would add these 4 decorative items. These are the same on each side, but the top edge is sloped, right? So that you can glue it against that frame, but this surface should fit up against the top of the roof, right? So be sure that the slope is correct so that it fits under there, and the slope here is correct. It will fit under there, and then these ends here will come together right in between. Well, maybe put those on first, actually. Put those on first, and then put that over the each end second. And that should do it. We hope you enjoy your new cart, and of course we would love to see pictures of your finished carts.